How's everybody doing? There's a couple of other really great Scion TC valve cover gasket change videos. But I'm about to do mine. This is on my daughter's 2005 TC with 205,000 miles on it. Let me just take I already disconnected the plastic cover on the top. And symptoms, in case other people are looking at theirs, you could see all around there, all that oil buildup. Some of it's kind of dripped down. And then on top of that, I went to do the spark plugs today. I wasn't even really planning on doing the valve cover gasket just yet. But I went to do the spark plugs, and down the very first spark plug I took out, there was all oil down inside there. It didn't get up under the connector, so the car was running fine. But there's, aside from the gasket going around the edge, there's also circular gaskets that go around each spark plug opening. So oil must be getting down through there. Hopefully that's what it is. And then bonus challenge I have to deal with now on top of that is, I guess this is really common, when I went to take off the spark plug, the clip that you press on to remove the spark plug wire they're so brittle they just snap right off. I mean, you can't even barely look at it and it snaps off. And I thought it was a fluke, and then I did it on the second one. That one snapped off immediately. And number 3 and 4, you can see what it's supposed to look like there. And that's what it looks like after you snap it off. All I did was press down on it, and it fell right off. So those two I haven't decided what I'm going to do with just yet. But once I get the gasket done, I'm going to have to come up with a plan to secure those. I probably do something with wire ties. Apparently the only way to change it is to change the whole harness, which if new is like $1,000. You could get them, I suppose, at like a junkyard. Or they're, I don't know, I saw some posts online saying that you might be able to buy replacement pieces for the ends. I'm probably just going to secure it. I've read online that most people have no trouble with them, actually, after they've snapped off. Some people haven't even put anything on them at all, and they stay on okay. So that is it. I will shoot some more video as I'm going along if there's anything interesting. Okay, so I was able to get the valve cover off. Wasn't too bad. Things to note: this hose here, the big hose to the right, was quite a pain to get off. Wasn't terrible, but I had to kind of get behind it and pull and keep twisting it back and forth with my hands a little bit, and eventually it comes off, but you gotta work it for a while. And that was about it. This piece of plastic here that I have the light on right now, that was very, very brittle and snapped immediately, even after I took the bolt off to move it out of the way. That little plastic piece just kind of snapped. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. And then the gasket itself, the old one, is really, really brittle and hard, so it's no wonder that it's leaking. Very hard to the touch. And let's see, if you look down, see down the spark plug hole, you could see the oil and where it's dripping down in there. So, and pretty much they're all the same. It's not like one's much worse than the other one. They all have a little bit of drippage. That was only going to get worse over time. So eventually the plugs probably would have started to skip while it was running. So that's it for now. I'm going to get the old gasket off, clean everything up, get the new gasket on, and replace the cover. So my brother-in-law is a mechanic, and I called him before doing this job, and one of the things he warned me about was if there was oil down around the spark plugs, to be very careful that none of the oil drips when I take out the spark plug, that none of the oil drips down into the engine, wherever that would be. So I really don't think I have much oil down there. It was just a few drips. But just to be safe, while I have the cover off, what I did was I just took my spark plug wrench and an extension, and I put a paper towel kind of over it and stuffed it up inside the socket a little bit, and then pushed everything down into the spark plug tube. Put the socket onto the spark plug, turned it a few times, and just had the paper towel kind of go around in there to kind of soak up whatever might be down there, if there was anything at all. He suggested using compressed air. I don't have an air compressor right now, so I didn't have that option. So I haven't actually taken this out just yet, but I'll pull it out now. Okay, so there's a little bit of oil on there. Nothing too bad. And let me get my light. Sorry for the motion. I look down in there. And kind of tough to see, but there's nothing like pooling up in there or anything like that. So I'm just going to do that with the other ones, and then finally hopefully get the cover back on. Alright, so another quick thing I just wanted to mention was when you're cleaning everything up before you put the new gasket in. So this is the underside of the valve cover. The other tutorials I saw never really showed it, the underside. So the channel where the gasket goes is right here along the underside of the cover. Mine was really filled with oil and grime from the old gasket not doing its job. So I cleaned that all out really well. The way I did that was with I took a flathead screwdriver and paper towels, and I just kind of folded the paper towels over into like a thin, basically a fold that would fit down in there. And then I just kept going around inside the groove with the paper towels and a little bit of degreaser, and now it's all very clean. And the other thing I wanted to show you on the cover itself is that rear hose that you have to pull out to get the cover off. That's actually to the PCV valve, so it's a great time to change that while you have that's the valve right there. Just need a wrench to get that off. I'm going to do it once it's back on, when everything's back on the and screwed back on. I'll change that out. So that way, while you have the hose off, it's a good time to do it. All right, see ya. Back again. Another thing to mention, I saw on some of the other tutorials, people were putting down liquid gasket pretty much around the top here, around the edge, in various places. I asked my brother-in-law mechanic about that too. He said that it's really not necessary unless there's like a seam in the block or the head. That's where you would want to put a little bit. So, and when I took off the old one, there was only liquid gasket in 2 spots, and that's right where the seams are, where 2 different pieces come together. And they're right near the chain. One of them is right there. You could see that, and there was previously some liquid there. And then on the back side, same exact spot. So I'll put a little bit of liquid gasket in each of those 2 spots. Other than that, I don't plan on using any other. I don't think it really matters either way though. All right, so Valve cover gasket is done. Everything is put back together. Not bad at all. All things considered, I thought it was going to be a much bigger problem than it was. 18 bucks for the gasket. How do you beat that? My spark plugs are changed. My PCV valve back there, that's where that is, I mentioned earlier. That is new. That's about 7 bucks from the dealer. The problem I had with the spark plug wires, harnesses snapping, came up with a solution for that I'm happy with. I'll post that in a different video. The cover went back on fine. If you have any trouble getting it back on, if it's not sitting properly, just feel around the back. A couple times a wire harness was kind of wedged in, or the back hose that goes into the PCV valve had kind of crept back in under the cover, so it wasn't going down all the way. Once I got all those things out of the way, everything went down snug. All bolts and everything went back on, wiring harnesses, and I will let it rest for the night, and I'll start it up tomorrow. Hope this was helpful to somebody, and good luck with your project. See you later. Alright, so it's the next morning, and everything started up just fine. It's running great. I did a quick kind of cleanup on the area. Can't get everything off. It's early spring here. I don't even have my hose out yet. But that is it. I'll put the cover back on, and should be good to go.